Hello friend and welcome back to my channel, Blue Nose Trading. My name is Tori Solis and today I'm going to be testing Micro Cerulean from Mako Colors Stoneware Collection. I will be testing this glaze on 7 different clay body test tiles as well as on a speckled stoneware planter. This is a Cone 6 glaze that's listed as lead free but not dinnerware safe and has a cautionary label to be used carefully by artists older than 12 years of age. Before I open this glaze, I want to make sure that it's mixed extremely well. I start by using my thumbs to secure the lid while I give it a good shake. After a firm shake, I want to ensure this glaze is thoroughly mixed using a drill with an egg beater attachment. It's important to make sure that a glaze is mixed completely so there aren't any lumps or clumps in the mix. If you have lumps that aren't mixed in, or if you have materials clumped up at the bottom of the jar, your glaze may not perform as expected because it's technically missing ingredients. So be sure to mix until the entire mixture is smooth and consistent. I'm going to be brushing glaze onto my test tiles. I brush my tiles in 1, 2, and 3 coats with the thickest coat at the top of the tile. I fire my tiles hanging on a high alumina rod to see how the glaze will perform on a vertical surface. In this way, I'm testing for running. With the thickest coat of glaze at the top of the tile, if it's going to run, it's got somewhere to go. I like to test glazes on lots of different clay bodies to get a general idea of how a glaze is going to behave on different colors and surfaces. Everyone out there is working with a different kind of clay, and maybe one of these tiles can help you guess at what might happen for you. As always, I strongly recommend that you make your own test tiles and fire them in your own kiln. Fire your tiles exactly how you would fire your normal work. There are lots of different factors that go into how a glaze is going to turn out. The best way to see how a glaze is going to perform for you in your kiln on your clay with your application process is to do your own testing. Looking at the speckled stoneware planter, this glaze is a denim blue with a satin finish. The speckles show through the glaze and you can see the formation of blue crystalline snowflake structures across the surface of the pot. This glaze was stable with no signs of running on this pot. On my white stoneware test tile, this glaze has a rich blue satin finish and the snowflake crystals are so dense it's hard to distinguish them. There is a slight bit of downward movement of the glaze on this tile, but nothing too serious. The Laguna B-Mix tile is also a rich blue denim with a satin finish. The crystals are much less distinct and there was a slight bit of downward movement across the tile. This glaze appears a bit more translucent on Laguna Frost porcelain tile. The color is a nice basic blue with a slight bit of downward flow across the tile. The finish is satin and the crystalline formation is not distinct on this tile. On my speckled clay body, the surface is much glossier. The color is a lovely denim blue. The crystals are more distinct but formed very densely packed. The speckles add a dynamic interest to the overall composition, and there was a slight bit of downward flow on the glaze of this tile. The Laguna speckled buff tile also has a lovely blue denim color with tightly packed snowflake crystals. The speckles are muted and hardly visible. There was some breaking of the glaze to a lighter color over the deeper texture on this tile, with a slight downward flow of glaze pooling at the bottom of the tile. The color is dense and consistent on the red stoneware tile. Crystal formation is much less distinct and the glaze had a slight downward fluid motion on the tile. The Laguna B3 black tile gave an entirely different response. The surface is much glossier with dark and distinct snowflake crystals laid over a lighter blue backdrop. There's a slight bit of downward fluid motion and pooling near the bottom of the tile. All around, this glaze is a denim blue that ranges from satin to glossy with varying degrees of crystal formation and crystal distinguishment from clay body to clay body. This glaze is mostly stable with only a slight bit of downward motion that seems to pool more than run. If the application is overly thick, I could see there potentially being running if you push the pooling over its gravitational limits. I fired my tiles on a straightforward ramp up with natural cool down and no holds. Due to the nature of crystalline forming glazes, you may be able to get more or less crystal growth with adjustments to holds and cooling speeds. This glaze performed well though, with slightly varying results across all the clay bodies I have tested today. The lovely color, stability, and snowflake crystal formation make this a glaze that I'm sure you can make use of in your own studio on non-food contact surfaces. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. I hope you enjoyed learning more about this glaze and can make use of this information in your own studio. If you'd like to help support my channel so I can get more glazes to test for you, consider becoming a member of my channel right here on YouTube. If you'd like to see all the ceramics I currently have available for sale, visit my website, bluenosetrading.com. If you want to stick around for more art videos, be sure to subscribe to this channel, Blue Nose Trading. Thank you so much for being here until the end of the video. Remember that you have great ideas that are worth exploring, drink enough water, and I will see y'all in the next video.